Patreon.com/WEE Studios is how you can support us at WEE Studios and get things in return, like free sync points and exclusive audio content.
Well, that sounds like a lot of stuff I could get.
Yeah, we could record voicemails in any voice of your choosing.
Even this one?
Especially that
Who
one.
would want this one?
So that's at patreon.com/WEE Studios. And of course, WeePodcast.com, WEEPodcast.com is where you can get all of our other episodes and worst episode ever, Simpsons podcast, sync points, YouTube channel, Reddit.
Everything. All the fun stuff that WEE Studios is doing at WeePodcast.com. Enjoy the show.
Minutes around the clock and straight out of WEE Studios. This is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack. You asked me if I needed the script.
I did.
And I said, no, of course not. I've done this 70 times.
Nope, apparently you did. And my name is Dan, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after. And now you forgot what happens next, which is Jack introduces our guest today, but I'll do it. We have a guest here in studio today. He is a longtime friend of the show, one of our first guests on 90s Percentile. He's been on our Worst Episode Ever show.
One of our first guests on our first guest.
He
on
was
Worst
our
Episode
very
Ever.
first guest and helped us out a lot when we were starting the podcast. Nick Noga in studio. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know. I was a first guest.
Well, now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was episode 5, so you can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we do we count as guests?
I guessed.
I guessed. You guessed. We all guessed together.
Nick is a writer, comedian, makes sketches. He's got a YouTube channel. It's great.
No, I don't.
Oh,
All right. Why did we invite you here?
I'm just hanging out.
you have a YouTube channel.
Do I?
Well, I guess it counts as a channel. If
I
you
don't
have
know.
an account,
If you have a YouTube account, you technically have a channel.
I
You may
mostly
not have
just-
anything on
mostly
it.
just watch YouTube. I don't really.
I have
the
a
chair
YouTube
sketch.
channel.
You got the one we did with the pills.
That makes it a channel?
I think if you post anything on YouTube, you technically have a channel.
You're-
My
you're-
channel is just a walkthrough of my apartment.
you're channeling your creativity through the means
Yeah.
of fiber optics.
There you go. Is that how the internet works? Is it all fibers?
It's all tubes.
It's all a system
Seriously.
of tubes.
Yeah, I just made something, put it on there. It's not a channel.
That's what everyone says.
All right, well, check out Nick's non-channel.
Just Google non-channel and it'll come up immediately.
It probably won't if you Google non-channel. I don't know what the hell.
I don't know what'll
let's
happen.
find out.
All right, we
We got all these fucking computers
As we said
everywhere.
before we started recording, we have like 9 computers that we've surrounded ourselves with.
I'm very wealthy, and I
Yes.
like to surround myself with
Jack, this is,
More computers.
that's what we do with all the Patreon money. It's just
buy
buy
computers.
another computer for the computer
I'd
pile.
wipe my ass with MacBook Airs.
Very inefficient,
So
but
much
so
money.
lovely. Very decadent stuff. All right, what are we doing? We're
What was I
Googling non-channel?
something. Oh, non-channel. Do I hyphen it?
I don't know. Has this
hyphen
bit gone on too long? It might have.
Is this an episode of
Is this a
this bit content?
It certainly is.
Non-lot channel.
Non-La channel comes up, and I don't know what that is. It's a Czech Republic, something from Prague.
No, that's a Chinese lady.
It seems to be some kind of food.
Well, it said in the Google, in the little blurb there. Wow. I don't know what this is, but they have more followers than our channel.
That's sad. And this video called Ducena Ribia Kako from www.nonla.cz has more views than 99% of our videos.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Are we going to play this on the air?
Let's see. I don't know what it is.
Ahoj, máte rádi ryby a zajímal by vás jiný
cooking a
způsob
fish.
stravy?
It's a fish in
Tak
a
toto
bowl.
video se bude týkat pokrmu
Jesus,
kácho,
what are they
což je
doing
pomalu
to the
dušená
fish?
ryba.
Is this what we're doing
Kácho
today? We're just
dříve
gonna watch
považovaná
YouTube
za
fish
jídlo
videos?
pohodě,
Yes,
ale
this is a
dnes už je
non-channel.
tento pokrm
So
velice
they're scaling
oblíbený
the fish
a je
and
součástí
cutting it
každé
up,
rodiny.
pouring
Všichni
and
by
making
tento
some
pokrm
kind of
měli
something.
uvařit.
So again, this video more popular than anything WEE Studios has ever produced.
497 views on this
Hey,
non-channel.
we've had much more popular than our YouTube stuff. Certainly not the podcast. But anyway, Nick, welcome to the show.
We're still in the welcome phase.
I assume as a
We're transitioning now to the non-welcome
trying
phase.
to. I assume you know exactly how this podcast runs, so I don't need to explain anything. So let's get started.
Well, I guess we should explain. Nick, you can pick a 90s topic. This is a 90s podcast.
Told me we don't have to talk about the 90s.
But you said you don't want to talk about the 90s. What topic did you want to talk about today?
You mean the one I told you before?
Yes.
You say it.
Let's belabor it
You
as much
could
as
say
we
it.
can.
You could say it, Nick. What topic do you want to talk about?
Well, I told you we should just talk about death.
All right, so that's the topic.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
If death is coming up as a topic on the show, we are bound to kill ourselves.
No.
As stated in our earlier episodes.
I thought we said if death came up as a topic in the random topic generator,
You're
that
right.
meant we had to commit podcast seppuku.
We are saved because it is coming from our guest, not the random topic generator,
It's like
so
an
we
Amer-
will live.
It's like an American Idol save.
Yeah.
They're
We
safe.
don't have to talk about death.
We can.
Well, we can. Let's talk about death. People died in the 90s, right? Who died in the 90s?
What happens
Princess
when you
Diana.
die, though? What happens when you
Are we talking about death or are we talking about after death?
after?
Why is it called afterlife?
Can we talk
Should
about
call it after
pre-death?
Yeah,
What's
what
that
happens
about?
before you die?
Pre-death
Yeah.
is now,
I guess
right?
you're just
I
alive.
guess. I guess just living.
You're just alive before you die.
Living.
It's
Who
funny.
needs it?
People say like, "I'm dying." Like, no, you're not. You're still alive. You're not dying until you're dead, right?
I guess if you, well...
You
no,
should say,
living-
I will die soon. You can't be dying.
If you want to wax philosophical, we're all dying, Nick. the
Until,
act of living is the act
until
of
you're
dying.
dead, you're not dying.
We're in the process of dying
But
right now.
yeah, dying, you're moving closer to death is what it is. And, you know...
What if I shot
That's
you
what we are.
right now and there's no way you're going to live from it? You're going to be dead within minutes. Aren't you dying?
No, the second I'm dead, then I'm dying.
No, if you're dead, you're dead.
No, if I'm alive, I'm living.
So you're
That's like
saying
if
you're
you-
saying the verb dying is literally that split second you go from living to dead.
It's like
Yeah,
saying I
yeah.
have to take a shit as opposed to I just took a shit.
I'm shitting.
I'm shitting is the act. It's when it's actually coming out of you, and then once it's out, I took a shit.
What is that moment when it's like halfway hanging out?
prairie dog.
Oh, if you're prairie dogging it?
Oh, there's a word.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
guess it's like a little prairie dog poking
Yeah,
its
just
head
poking
out.
his head and, hey, what's up?
I know how me and Dan learned that phrase.
It's the film Rat Race from 2001.
We were so excited to go see it.
It was a good movie. I've seen it several
it
times.
was okay.
It's a good movie to watch on a Saturday afternoon on TBS.
It's no mad world.
Has there ever been like a family film where they like had that happen in it, like just the poop coming out of the?
Where they just poop the poop.
So like it's a
Well, in
family
Rat Race it
movie,
happened.
and then they just cut to like
asshole with shit coming out.
I can safely say that's never happened.
But why not?
You
Kids
could do that.
would love it.
You should.
Mommy, Daddy,
So,
take
hang
me
on.
to the movie where they have the close up of the asshole.
I want to make sure I have this right. You're talking. It's a family film, like about a talking animal or something, and then it just cuts to a bare asshole, and and poop comes out.
I would have loved that as a kid. Wouldn't you have loved to see that? It would be like your favorite movie.
But
Yeah, I
it
can
would
see
be.
that.
But it's
I
like
would
but,
like
but
the
it-
poop movie.
Like you'd watch it at home and you'd nudge your friends like the scene's coming up.
Here comes the asshole.
Like it's like when you're playing with Play-Doh and you
Yeah,
push it
the
out of the
Play-Doh
little
Fun
hole.
Factory.
You're like, oh look, it looks like poop.
I always did that. That's for sure. Yeah.
I'm just picturing like
It's the
Haley
adults that
Mills
are
in like the
uncomfortable.
Oh,
Parent Trap, and then they're just cutting. It's like
It just cuts to a pooping ass.
Yes.
I think more films need that. Like, what if Citizen Kane just cuts to Charles Foster Kane taking a shit?
I want to see like Twin Peaks just do.
Peeking.
I want them to extend it like,
Two assholes taking a shit. That's twin peaking.
but like do it in super slow mo. So it takes like 15 minutes.
Ding.
I want
Ding,
Christopher
ding.
Nolan to do that with like a Hans Zimmer score.
So we insert 15 minutes of pooping into an otherwise non-poop related film for kids. I like it.
Murph, we're out of toilet paper. Murph.
So from beyond the stars, Matthew McConaughey is trying to tell his daughter that to buy toilet paper so he doesn't fall into the poop trap.
Exactly.
My
I'm
God.
prairie dogging it, Murph. Get some toilet paper.
Not a good movie, Interstellar. I know you
I love
disagree.
it. I
but
love it. I just watched it
didn't
for a
care
third
it.
time, and it just gets better every time.
Yeah.
It's got a couple of problems.
I'd say that's more than a couple, but it looks good.
Overall,
Good-looking movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. All right. Well,
It's an
Nick,
emotional ride, Dan. You need
It's
need
an
to
emotional
have-
roller coaster.
You need to have a heart.
here's the thing. I don't have a heart,
I
and I don't
know.
want emotions. I just want to see a static shot of a pooping butt for
That's gonna be
90 minutes.
That's gonna be.
I mean, I
Nolan's
didn't
follow-up
want to
Dunkirk.
see Interstellar. I didn't see it, but if I knew it had a shit ass.
If you knew at some point,
If
you
it
didn't
was-
know when, it was
and
going to
if it
cut
was,
to a
and if it
farting
was,
ass.
and if it was Matthew McConaughey's butthole pooping,
Yeah.
like if you had like,
Oh, you gotta get paid extra for
People
that.
would pay good money for that. Oh, totally.
Like
There's
Halle
a poop
Berry.
clause.
like you know, they didn't
Swordfish.
Yeah.
like bring in like a stuntman poop
Yeah,
hole?
no.
No, you got to get the
You-
real MCM.
There's got to be at some point it has to pan up in the same shot, so you see Matthew McConaughey's like face like clenching in pain.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
"Arr."
Like he ate a lot of
Because
But
that's what
hardens your
traveling.
poops.
That's what all that interstellar traveling does to you. It
And he has
makes
to
you
poop
shit.
out a flat
Well,
circle.
the compression of going close to the speed of light just compacts your poop, and then you,
Yeah, well,
you get plugged up.
your butt is closer to the center of gravity
Yeah.
than the top half of your body, so your butt is actually being pulled on stronger gravitational forces.
Yeah.
So it becomes spaghettified.
Oh,
and
boy.
literally, the
So you just,
the gravity of the black hole is pulling the poop out of your butt.
Hey,
That's
wait,
pretty effective enema, I
why?
think.
Why is there water in just sitting in your toilet though? Why does the poop need to
Why is
land
there
in water?
I think just because it's
Like,
like
couldn't
a
it
smell.
yeah.
If you didn't have that
Does
water,
it-
you'd
but
smell poop, and it would be
I
gross.
smell poop anyway.
Well, I think what you're smelling is gas.
No,
that
I
also
smell,
leaves your butthole.
You can tell the difference between somebody farted in the bathroom,
But
True.
and
I
someone
think it's,
that
I think
shit.
it's less strong, right?
I think it's less
Oh,
strong.
you know what?
Yeah.
Oh no, it
Has
has
anybody done
something
a
to slide
test?
out. It's so it can flush. Go when you flush.
Well,
But can't the water just come later?
No, because then it'll just
It also keeps it
wash,
clean,
it'll
too.
bask over the turd.
if you just poop right onto the porcelain, it would just give a big poop stain.
Why
But
do-
when it's in the water, the impact is, the
You're
water
listening
takes the
to
impact.
90s Percentile,
Our topic is
WEE
death.
Studios podcast. Our
Death
topic
and,
is
death
death.
and poop, the only thing certain in the world. Whew, boy.
Boy.
But Nick, why did you want to talk about death? Which not typically a 90s topic.
I didn't. It just is a thing that I popped out of my mouth.
All right.
I almost said pooped out of my
Popped out of your butt.
Oh, yeah.
Because he asked me at work yesterday. He's like, we shouldn't talk about the 90s. We should talk about it. And I just said the first word came in my head was death.
Word association. 90s. Death.
I mean, the 90s did die. That's a thing.
Do,
That
do decades die?
Well, the 90s were scary. Remember? They always
The
talk.
90s?
yeah, it
were-
wasn't
well-
the utopia we live in now.
Yeah.
I mean, the 90s was a good time. We had, what's the good one? Is it a recession? It's not a recession. It's, what's the opposite of a recession?
Boom.
A boom. It was a boom times economically.
In the late 90s, yeah.
I mean, we weren't in a war. Well, I guess we were in wars. We had like the first Gulf War and then
not
there was
really
some
a
other stuff
war,
happening on, but it
though.
wasn't really a war. It was more just like a military action.
yeah, I mean, there was a couple of genocides going on in Eastern Europe
Yeah.
and Africa.
But AIDS. Remember the AIDS?
AIDS was a big thing.
AIDS was big.
Big cause of death in the 90s was AIDS.
They used to tell us about AIDS constantly.
AIDS was very scary. They were really. I don't think they drill it as much as they do in schools now. When we were in 90s kids going to school, that was a big part of your curriculum. It was just like
Careful, you're gonna get AIDS.
You're-
You're gonna
yeah.
get AIDS.
Yeah,
Like,
don't even touch a vagina. You will get
do
AIDS
not
immediately.
Get AIDS. I guess because people were still scared about the epidemic and they didn't know exactly. I guess they knew exactly how it was spreading, but they wanted to curb it. I don't. They it seemed a little overprotective.
Well, I don't know if they did know how it was spreading because I think for a while, maybe this was more in the 80s. I think it was
think it was
thought
more-
to be a gay disease.
Yeah, but I mean, by the
And
time
then,
we
you
were
know,
learning about
But
it,
it is. It's a gay disease.
Well, it's not.
No, but gay people get it.
yes,
well,
but so
yes,
do straight
but
people.
they
it's not
get it-
exclusively a
They
gay
get
disease.
it way more.
because
I
when
don't
you
know
have,
if- well,
when you have
look
anal
at this-
sex, there's
look-
more trauma to the body.
There's more blood, which is how the virus, the HIV virus, passes through.
But
So we
you
learned
can-
a lot about AIDS.
Yeah.
Clearly.
No, because I looked it up because I used to get all freaked out that I was going to get AIDS, but it's like impossible for a straight
not
guy to
impossible to
That
get
is
AIDS.
definitely not true.
It is
Listeners, Nick's views do
impossible.
not
Please,
condone WEE
please
Studios.
use condoms.
Yes, no. Practice
No,
You'll
sex.
never get AIDS if you're a straight guy. Like, I'm serious. You'll never get it. Ever.
Magic Johnson got
okay.
it.
He's
What-
gay. Come on, of course. His name's Magic, for Christ's sakes. That's the gayest name I ever heard in my life. He goes in the locker room with all those gay, dudes.
Remember that first episode Nick was on, where everyone was like, what a great episode. I gotta have this guy back.
When I was in
Are you implying Magic Johnson's having gay sex in NBA locker rooms?
Yes. Remember
boy.
that one guy just told everybody he was gay?
yeah.
Who's that one guy?
The,
I don't know,
the first
the-
openly gay.
Yeah,
and-
now that's all.
So now
gonna
they're
come
all gay.
Now they're all gay.
Look,
When I was in sex ed in the early
Yeah.
90s, they were already telling us that the heterosexual sex will get you AIDS, will get HIV. So even by the early 90s,
Well-
we knew better.
I feel like at some point it just became STDs in general, and they weren't hitting the AIDS button so hard.
I don't know.
Maybe
They
that
were-
was more in the 2000s.
With us, they were definitely hitting AIDS. I mean, the thing is, it is less scary now because they haven't cured it, but people do live a lot longer and a lot
Yes, it's more
easier, for lack of a better
It's
word.
more treatable. It's not cured, like you said.
Yeah, that's why cancer scares me much more because cancer killed Steve Jobs. Now, if Steve Jobs couldn't figure out a way to stop cancer,
Yes.
what hope does any of us have?
But here's the thing with Steve Jobs. He was also like a crazy naturalist guy and like didn't really seek a lot of treatment.
He was trying everything under the sun.
All he ate was fruit. He didn't shower, apparently.
He was trying that stuff too, but he was also trying actual medicine.
I don't know. I don't know.
Granted, even since he's died, like cancer research has gone, we've been making crazy exponential strides with gene therapy.
But the thing is, with cancer, it's not a virus. So AIDS comes from HIV, which is a virus that is somewhat treatable. Cancer is just a mutation of your cells, and it could be any type of cancer. It's a class in and of itself.
The reason it's gotten worse is because we're getting healthier and living longer.
Yes.
So whatever makes us live longer makes tumors live longer.
And some people think that cancer is just kind of like, almost like a natural thing. It's just like, oh, you're not supposed to live this long. Like, you need to die. Like the body killing itself.
I think it's just a random thing. So I learned this. It's amazing how, I mean, every cancer is completely different. But basically, it comes down to one strand of DNA gets fucked up and then replicates and keeps replicating.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time. So, except usually out of the billions of DNA molecules, that never gets any traction and it doesn't replicate it.
Right, or the body somehow gets rid of
Man,
it.
this got really depressing.
Yeah, but you came in here and you're like, let's talk about death.
But here, take lung cancer.
Let's talk more about cancer.
We can go back to poop talk.
But I never thought about it before until I read it this way. But look at lung cancer.
Yeah.
So if you smoke a lot, you get lung cancer, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you smoke a little, you're less likely to get it. But it has nothing to do with the amount of smoke.
That's not true. I don't think it is.
One part, that person, if you get lung cancer, like my grandmother died of lung cancer, my dog died of lung cancer, a lot of my relatives have died of lung cancer. And my grandmother died of lung cancer. That tumor started 45 years ago.
Right, but
one particle of smoke went into hit a DNA strand, broke off one of the A's or the G's. That replicated. That's over 45 years became a tumor.
Right.
Now that could have been if she smoked one cigarette.
That's what I was going to say.
Exactly, yeah. So all it takes is that one molecule. It's just if you're a chronic smoker, you're more likely for that one particle.
You have more opportunities for that to happen.
Yeah. But it really all comes down to literally everybody who has died of cancer.
Yeah.
There was like a specific moment in time, years before, where that tumor started with one molecule. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So hopefully we find a cure for cancer very soon.
But that's the thing is every cancer is completely different.
I know, but like you said, did you say this before? I don't even remember. Gene therapy and things like that, and
They're
unlocking the genome.
It's crazy how good they're getting.
We can maybe have some hope that
the big
we'll
problem
cancer.
is when they do find something, is it more profitable for them to make you live with it or to cure you outright? And
as long as what's his face?
If they could cure lung cancer like every 100% of the time, would you just start smoking?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would.
I wouldn't even want to.
I wouldn't. I have no interest in smoking.
I don't.
It makes me look cool.
I have smoked,
But maybe I will.
cigarettes,
Maybe
but
let's start smoking if they
Let's
cure
start-
cancer.
I mean,
if they cure cancer,
should we start smoking? Let's just do
If
it right now. Let's light
if they
up.
cure cancer, there's really no risk.
I think we should have like a celebratory pack of cigarettes.
At the end of every podcast, we'll
I was
smoke
gonna
an
say,
entire
I was
pack.
gonna say for them
like we
curing
could
cancer.
invest. No, you start investing in tobacco, and
That's not bad.
I don't know. You would think that the tobacco companies would be the most invested in curing cancer.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like, shouldn't they be funneling tons and tons of money?
Yeah.
Like, if people can't get cancer, then they'll keep smoking.
Yeah, then they can take the labels off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's a
maybe
great
they
point.
do. Well, actually, they do somewhat because you know those like truth commercials and everything.
Yeah.
Those are all funded by the tobacco companies.
Really?
Yeah, like the anti-smoking campaigns. I think
they
it may be
made
a
to do
governmental
it?
thing where they have to do
Oh,
it, but
right.
yeah,
Is that why they make them so obnoxious?
I kind of think that is
Because
a little bit why.
look, I'm very anti-smoking, and I think people shouldn't do it because it's such an obvious way to kill yourself.
Yet you would smoke immediately if they found a
well,
cure
it's
for
not
cancer.
a way to kill myself anymore.
I mean, I think
But
there's
anyway.
other problems you can get. Emphysema is not exactly
Yeah,
a
that's
cancer.
true. But anyway, I'm an anti-smoker, but those commercials just make me want to smoke just to spite them because they're so fucking.
It's always filled with obnoxious,
smug.
like 20-year-olds who are like, smoking cost me my teeth or whatever. You ever see that commercial? Like the guy goes in, he has to take his teeth out to
Or
buy
the guy with
cigarettes.
the hole in his throat.
Oh.
You ever notice how
boy.
in old war movies, like everybody has cigarettes for some reason?
Yeah, to calm
Well,
yourself
'cause in
down,
the-
calm your nerves.
Yeah, and in the
'Cause you're about
50s,
to
people
die.
just smoked constantly.
How
Like,
about
they didn't know
those
it caused
cigarettes
cancer.
really do miracles. Those
They're
cigarettes.
pretty
Yeah.
amazing. They're
God
pretty
for the
they're-
tobacco industry.
They're a pretty amazing.
really
product.
helping our boys
So,
overseas.
We're not even 20 minutes into this episode, and we have promoted unsafe sex and said you will not get
We
AIDS.
called magic the gayest name of all.
We didn't do that.
It really
Someone
is gay.
on the podcast
if you called
did.
me Magic, I'd be pissed off.
Oh, God.
Hey,
We're here
you,
with Magic
Magic.
Noga.
I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm not Magic.
We'll call him Irving then instead. Irving Johnson.
Yeah, that's another gay name. Irving.
What makes it
Boy.
gay? What
Yeah.
makes it homosexual?
Magic, because it's like flamboyant.
Is magic flamboyant? You're thinking of
Magic
like,
is the most flamboyant.
well, you're thinking of like
What's
that's
more flamboyant than a magician?
You're thinking of like the magician with like a cape and like and a wand.
What other
but
kinds of magicians are there?
David
Gandalf?
Blaine. Oh, David Blaine doesn't have a cape and a wand.
Gandalf's not gay. Well,
He's the
could be.
manliest man who's ever
He
lived.
looked gay. He hangs out with Frodo.
Well, Ian McKellen is gay.
yes. See where we're
That was
going
not
here?
the best wizard you could have
So
picked.
all magic is homosexual.
Oh, I'm glad we're getting to the root of what is and is not homosexual on this 90s podcast about death. We're really hitting all the buttons today.
All the buttons.
But anyway,
Trump is a cunt.
oh boy.
Oh, you touched my feet.
Because I'm gay. I'm magic. Make your dick disappear. My butt.
Abracadabra.
I don't even know what's is this can we even put this out? Is this our episode? Is this happening?
I'm going to make this dick disappear.
In your butt.
I've had gay people say that every time they have sex.
I mean, I don't know that they do, but if I was a gay man, I would say it every time.
I've said abracadabra at climax.
Yeah. What else do you guys say at climax? Let's get into this.
Hocus pocus.
Alakazam!
Are there any other magic?
I think that might be
Those
it.
are the three?
I think that's it. Those are the ones. Whew. Orgasm, the little death
What is it called
in
that?
French. I don't know why it is. I think some poet said it.
Are you like, is your soul escaping out of your pee hole?
Maybe that's it, or maybe just the
Jesus.
orgasm is just like you're touching death. I don't know, or like your seed has life in it, and you're just kind of expelling it.
That's true. You're
Could
killing
be something
off,
like that. You're
millions of
killing
sperm.
your possible babies.
No, you're allowing them to live.
Yeah.
You're sending them towards the immortality.
What's the deal with sperm? Do they like live outside of you?
Yes.
Like if you flush a bunch of sperm, is it just
For-
like in the
I'm sure for
sewers?
like a couple of minutes, maybe.
Are there like
apparently
sewer sperm?
Is it gonna be like an alligator where like
Yeah.
one giant sperm?
Yeah,
like 20
and that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Can you fertilize an egg that came out of a woman's body like from a period?
I don't think so because I think those are dead eggs.
They die?
I think
Eggs
so.
die?
Eggs die.
How the
Yeah.
hell does an egg die?
It just no longer gets nutrients, right?
So here's the thing. I learned nothing in sex ed. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and
Yeah,
they
they
didn't teach
couldn't
us
even- they
any
couldn't
of
even say
this.
condoms.
Not even they didn't even say the AIDS stuff. That was all like from public service announcements. But women are born with all of the eggs they're ever going to have in their body, and then they die slowly, and that's what their
Yes.
periods are.
Yeah.
So like, is it if there's
Yeah.
like a
No, it's not gross.
if there's a period egg just sitting there and you jack off on it,
That's gross.
That is gross.
can a baby happen somehow?
I don't.
Can you get
physically possible.
can you get like a zygote or something?
Well, it's not like the two cells combine and just magically grow into a baby. There needs to be a womb, and it has to be supported.
Nutrients.
But that
and-
can happen later. You put it in the body somehow.
Well, I mean, they do have in vitro fertilization.
I'm
That's a
guessing-
thing that
I'm
happens.
guessing these things
they
are
don't
so-
just jerk off onto expelled eggs.
Well, I just want to know what would those the anti-abortion people think if you jacked off on a period egg and then squished it? Would you be like, oh, that's
We're earning
abortion?
the explicit
Yes.
tag today.
Yes.
And then squished it? Oh,
If you
God.
if you squished an egg,
I don't think the anti-abortion people are all that crazy about in vitro fertilization either. Fertilization.
What's
Are
their
they?
what's
they
their
don't
problem?
like anything.
I don't know. They have a lot of
They got a lot of
problems.
sticks up their butts.
I'm going to make those sticks disappear up their butts.
What
Magic.
was I googling?
Alakazam! I have no idea. I don't remember what we were going to Google.
Probably like biology lessons. Because I'm pretty sure 99% of what we just said is
I think
not
it's almost
scientifically
entirely
accurate.
garbage. Yeah. Do not trust this show for learning anything, especially this episode.
There's like a young infertile couple listening to this podcast.
Maybe they're gonna talk about that.
oh, God.
My main source of fertility treatment.
Yeah, it was 90s Percentile podcast.
Honey, hurry up and period out that egg. I got
Ready to go, baby. I only got a couple of minutes.
I'm alive.
I exclusively want to say Alakazam now whenever I ejaculate.
Can you even talk when you ejaculate? Is it possible?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about having a full conversation.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know if I've ever spoken.
Are you rendered completely mute when it happens?
I'm in
What
a
about when
I'm
you
in a
sneeze?
like in a clenched up state.
No, I'm in a release state.
No, like I make all kinds of weird
Dan, how do you,
gestures.
how do you,
I
ma-
want
how
to
do
get
you-
into this
How do you
conversation.
ejaculate, Dan?
Oh, Alakazam.
Like I do this weird thing with my arm. I can't help it.
What?
Wait,
You
I
need to
go,
be more
I
specific.
kind of bend it up like this. I can't help it. It just happens subconsciously. And girls will look at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't
So this
blame
is
him.
like when. Never mind.
Every
I don't want to
time?
know. I don't need to know.
Every
this.
time.
You just like suddenly do this weird arm motion where you're
I
just
can't.
folding your arm.
I can't
up?
ejaculate until it happens.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, that's
That is
weird.
weird.
I guess there's like some kind of like nerve tied from your elbow to your
Yeah, you
penis.
probably like what do you call it? Like Skinner. What was it? Conditioning, operant conditioning. Like whenever you do this, now you just jerk off.
What if your arm is tied behind your back?
I can't. I don't know. I can't.
You should try it.
No, you should not today. Not on that. We're not
Try
doing
it
it live.
live on air.
No.
How am I
We're
gonna?
gonna. How much time we have? Let's see. We got like 4 or 5 in you. We can figure this out.
Oh my
How
god.
can I tie up my arms and jack off though?
Oh, you're talking about jacking
Practice,
off.
practice,
Yeah,
practice.
yeah,
So you
jack-
meant ejaculating.
Well, that's the only time I ever ejaculate.
Oh, man.
I can't orgasm during sex.
You fake it.
No, I don't. I just tell them you're not. I can't do it. I just tell them we can't have an orgasm.
Like tantric.
No, I can't. I just tell them it's like it's not gonna happen.
But don't you want to?
I can't. It's impossible.
What does that mean?
I can't.
It's no
achieve
different
it.
than your hand.
No, my hand. The only way I can do it is with my hand.
See, that's bad.
That's
a
conditioning.
bad thing.
That's conditioning.
That happens to a lot of people.
No, I think it was circumcision. It
doesn't help.
The hospital
It does not help.
I think they botched it.
You think you have a botched circumcision? All right, guys, take your penises out. Let's take a look.
Let's say-
I think it's a sensitivity thing.
I think they botched mine too.
I mean, a botch it.
Do you want me to get super graphic?
Well, no,
Not
actually,
really.
Well,
All right.
some girls like it because I just keep on going.
I think I have. I think. Never mind. This is too graphic.
We're getting very personal and
There's
graphic
something
in this
that
episode.
affects.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought I told you
is-
this before.
Oh man,
I-
I don't know what's about to come out of Jack's mouth.
Well, it's not my
I'm
mouth.
a little. I'm very scared. Then I was going to say I'm a little scared.
I don't know. Sometimes when I pee, maybe this happens to everybody. I've never really asked anybody, but doesn't it like break off into 2 streams? Like there's a fork.
Yes.
Yeah, that happens to everybody.
Oh, all
That-
right.
that
Good.
happens
I
to
thought it was
everybody.
me. I thought
I
maybe
think it's
like they
good- I
left
think
like a
it's-
little piece of skin like in the hole. And it was
Ladies, if you don't know what we're talking about, sometimes
Like washer
when you're
fluid.
peeing,
you pee in 2
and
separate
it looks
directions.
like a V.
Yeah.
because there's stuff in your urethra and it has to get expelled
dried
by the
dried
pee.
up jizz,
I was
right?
assuming it was maybe like some
Yeah.
leftover circumcision skin.
No, I mean maybe in your case, I don't know. I haven't looked at your penis in a while, Jack.
They had to look in.
All
Look
right,
in my
let's
penis.
check it out. I'll get my stethoscope and my
We'll put
flashlight.
pictures on our Patreon exclusive.
Oh, that's an enticement for people to get in there. If you want to see pictures of Jack's penis close up,
inside
$2
my
a
pee
month,
hole.
we'll get it for you.
Nick Noga episode of 90s Percentile.
Yes, I feel like we should talk about something else.
You don't want to keep talking about death?
I mean, we're not even talking about death. We can
talking
get back
about
to
the little
death.
death.
Well, we were.
Most of what we talked about happened in the 90s.
Yeah, no,
I
I
mean,
peed in 2 streams.
People died.
Multiple
There
times
was,
a day.
died,
there was
people
AIDS.
pooped.
There was Magic Johnson.
There was Magic Johnson. There still is Magic Johnson,
still
which is
alive.
showing how far we've come in AIDS research.
Maybe he doesn't have AIDS.
No,
You think
he-
he's just been lying?
Yes. Where was his career before that?
he was a
Just,
top,
I mean, I'm pretty
top
sure
NBA
he was like an
professional.
all-star NBA player.
needed attention.
He was on The Simpsons.
I got AIDS, everybody. Oh,
I don't think that's.
he got all that pity.
No, he didn't need it.
Yeah, I don't know.
My general instinct is to take his word for it that he is a straight man who has AIDS.
There's little reason to doubt it.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
lie?
I don't know.
Do you want to?
do we have more to talk about death?
What do you think happens when we do? We're all atheists here, right? I mean, I'm an agnostic, but there's no
Same
God.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, dead over.
I'm hoping there's something. I hope there's
I mean,
some kind of
do
existence.
you? Because
eternity could be really
right,
boring.
because then what's next, and then what's after that, and
Well,
are you
I'm
going to
hoping,
remember what
I'm
happens
hoping
here?
I'm hoping it's some kind of mind-blowing transition that I can't even fathom with my monkey brain.
Right. I
But
mean,
then you'll get used to that at a certain point.
Will you?
Of course.
Maybe the idea of getting used to something is a very human-limited human brain thing.
well, it's weird because people worry about death and what's going to happen after you die, but no one worries about where they were before they were alive, and it's really the same
I do
thing.
all the time. I'm always like, where was I? June 10th, 1984.
Yeah,
you were
I mean-
separate particles in various places.
I mean, on that date, you were already essentially alive because you were in your mother's womb.
Oh, yeah.
Well, your mother's-
but like in the 70s, where were you?
My dad jacked off on my mom's period
okay,
egg,
good.
and I spontaneously formed.
I knew it. All right.
well,
That
technically,
explains all the weird penis trouble you've been having.
so yeah, you the egg that you were fertilized in would have been formed at your mother's conception. So whenever your mother was conceived is technically the oldest part of you.
So I was born in 1949.
Interesting.
Not born.
Well, but your body also
Part of you existed.
Every 7 years, you're completely new cells.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the paradox,
Even
the
your
ship
brain?
of Theseus. Yeah, everything.
I thought brain cells don't die or regenerate.
Oh, maybe I could be wrong about the brain, but the whole ship of Theseus
Like
thing
elbow,
is,
I know.
Yeah.
I know your elbow is gone every
your
7
elbow,
years.
bro. You got to get a new elbow every 7 years, or else
Like
that is
these
no good.
elbows, these elbows didn't even get to see
No.
Iron Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
When I saw Iron Man 1, these elbows weren't here.
These elbows have only existed with a Marvel universe in existence. They only know the Avengers.
It was 2000. What is
2008
it?
was
10.
Iron Man.
So they saw Iron Man 2 possibly.
Possibly. I don't know. Well, did you see it opening day? Because we're past that, baby.
Those poor elbows.
That was May 2010.
No, so they weren't there for the opening
Yeah.
of Iron Man 2,
No.
but they've seen it on
They've
TV.
seen it on DVD and Blu-ray and
On
streaming.
FX now.
Yes.
Every 7
commercials.
years, you should just have like a little funeral for yourself.
Now that's a
That's
good
a
idea.
fun.
That's a cute
like every
idea.
7 years, we just have like a funeral.
Yeah.
We smoke a pack of cigarettes.
There you go, and celebrate another death.
It puts the fun in funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
kind of,
that.
I
That
actually
should be
do
the
kind
little
of like.
death.
That's an interesting idea to have a little funeral for yourself every
Because
7 years.
it's like psychologically, it's cathartic because it's like, well, the last
Right.
7 years were a mess, but let's try.
It's
let's-
like a memento mori type
let's
thing, like
start.
remember death.
Isn't that like Day of the Dead? Isn't that kind of the point?
I've never seen. Oh, I thought you meant the movie Day of the Dead, but you're talking about the Mexican Day of the Dead.
No, I'm talking about the zombie movie.
I never saw it.
No,
I-
I'm talking about the Mexican Day of the Dead.
No, they go.
yeah.
They go and talk to the dead family members, don't they?
They don't exist though. They're dead.
I know, but they still talk to them.
I think. I don't know too much about the Day of the Dead, but I thought that it was supposed to kind of normalize death so that you're not as afraid of death.
You shouldn't
which
be
is a big
afraid
Roman
of it.
thing.
You shouldn't be afraid of it because if you're preoccupied with it, then you're not going to get anything done.
Right.
We're all going to die.
And there's nothing you can do to prevent
yeah,
it.
it's really depressing. I kind of want to kill myself.
You might be
every
able to
day,
do some
but-
stuff to prevent it soon.
Well, you're talking about like a singularity type situation where we're going to back up our minds to the cloud?
They might even in our lifetime come up with something like that, but we are too old for it, and we're fucked.
I mean, are we? Because, okay, how would they solve death? Like, would it be like a cyborg type thing?
It would be like that
because
movie.
then we're not too old
Did
for
you
it.
see that movie Get Out where they just transplant
Don't
their...
spoil the end of Get Out, because if people haven't seen it, they absolutely should.
Here's the thing about
I don't want to spoil it, because Jack, have you even seen Get Out?
yes,
Okay.
but there
Have
are
you seen it?
Yeah, it was a great movie. I loved it.
So who cares?
the listeners haven't seen it. So
if the listeners haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. Go see Get Out. It's fucking great.
There are studies that are coming out saying that it's possible that the body doesn't need to die or age. Like it could theoretically reproduce ad infinitum.
Yeah.
Now the reason they think we age is basically when DNA and RNA is forming in an individual cell, there's little bits of leftover protein that just kind of are there, and they're floating around in your cytoplasm, and eventually they start filling up the cells, and that's why you literally start drying up, shrinking, and wrinkling. You're getting and eventually they burst and you die. That's aging. As far as they know, that's the best we can come up with a scientific. This is aging, and they're starting to figure out how to reduce that and stop it, which is kind of crazy. I'm pretty convinced. So again, if we don't blow each other up, and hopefully we don't have this such Elysium situation where this is only being applied to like the 0.1%.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's everybody, but I'm pretty convinced that if things go well, people that are alive now could be living to be like 150, 160, 170.
Here's the thing, that like kind of sounds cool, but it's also a catastrophic problem because we can't even support the life that we have on the planet now.
No,
we have like
we'd
almost
have to-
9 billion people.
But
Just start moving to those asteroids.
we need to get onto the asteroid
and
belts.
also we can't
The
support
moon.
them because of like abstract concepts like money and government and stuff like that. We do have
Yeah.
the resources to support billions more people.
Well, we could, in theory, but we don't have the logistics to possibly grow and get food to everyone who needs food.
But we could if we got our shit together. But we won't. That's a
Right.
big ask.
yeah, the human race, if
Is not
anything,
going
is
to get
moving
there.
backwards.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get our shit together. But theoretically, we could.
Yeah. In
No,
theory.
I disagree. I think all those new people are going to think of all the solutions.
No, they're going to
No,
starve
they're
to
going to
death.
think about
They're
boner
gonna-
pills and how to keep hair.
They're going to
It's like
starve to
idiocracy.
death before the age of 5.
Yeah, this is a downer
Also,
episode.
antibiotics aren't working anymore.
I
Soon
thought
we'll
our-
all be dead.
I thought our death episode would be a little more
Bit of a
upbeat than this.
upbeat, yeah.
This one's a downer.
Like Till Death of the Brad Garrett.
I thought that's what we were going to talk about. That come out in the 90s?
No,
I
it
think it was
did
like
not,
2003. What was I going to say? So your concern is if we stop aging, we'd also need to reverse aging for us to get the benefit of it because we'll be old men.
Yeah, well, in terms of like health, like the way that they're
Unless we can just get robot
the way that
bodies.
they're preventing aging, it's all going to, at least in the as early as we can do it, it's going to come down to healthy living and stuff like that, getting the protein out of your cells and stuff.
Right.
You really got to start young. In terms of uploading to the cloud, if we did somehow figure that out in our lifetime, I guess, even if you were 99 years old,
Would you guys do that if you could upload your consciousness into the cloud?
Sam Harris talks about this a lot in his podcast.
Yeah.
And there's two problems. There's one problem with it. It's the same problem with teleporting in the Star Trek universe.
Sure, you're not really
You die when in the process.
Yeah, the cloud you is a copy of you. If there's
Right.
a way to make it you, it's you. When the computer version of you opens its eyes, it doesn't have your memories. It is you remember.
Yeah.
But there's really no way. That's like science. That's science fiction.
Yes.
Making a copy of yourself might be feasible, but it's kind of science fiction to say, oh, that's me teleporting to the Starship Enterprise.
I mean, it's science fiction until it's real. Like
But-
submarines were science
But
fiction at
how,
one point.
So it's like Prestige, Hugh Jackman. If you're not following along, it's basically
Yeah.
If you're making
spoilers for that, but at least that came out like 12 years
if
ago.
you're making a copy of yourself, that copy, it's like Michael Keaton Multiplicity. That copy is going
Yeah.
to think it's you. It's going to have all
She
of
touched
your
my Pepe,
memories.
Steve.
But you right now,
Great movie,
your
Multiplicity.
memories just stopped. You're not you. The Dan original is not making memories.
Yeah.
How do you get that copy? How is that continuing your physical experience?
Well, you're talking about consciousness now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How do you transfer consciousness?
Nick's laughing about multiplicity.
No,
while you're talking about
got
consciousness.
Split atoms.
not multiplicity, but I just got this idea in my head of this guy that's they're gonna spoil the Prestige. Like, I was right about to watch
it's
it.
the next on my Netflix queue.
It's been.
I
it's
just
been
wanted to listen to
11 years.
anti-homosexual
I was
rhetoric.
gonna watch it.
Yeah, but I think Jack, what you were talking about is more like what happens to what is
Right.
consciousness, which is a whole other question.
And that's if making a copy, if somehow turning your brain into a computer algorithm, which is already very, very tough science.
Yeah.
that's nothing compared to or trying to figure out consciousness. That's not. That can't be in our lifetime. That might not even be possible. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I think I don't know because we're really close with artificial intelligence. Like we
But
could
that's
have
not consciousness. Even
I mean-
our most advanced forms of AI are not the kind of AI
we
we
don't-
write about in science fiction.
not yet, but they could easily get there. Well, maybe not easily, but in the next 30 years they could totally get there.
Remember that movie AI?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good
Haley
movie.
Joel Osment.
How come
Gigolo
all
Joe.
these AI movies are like, but the machine, it can't love.
Her love.
I'm like,
She did, and then she had to go. Her planet needed.
it's just like such a stupid thing. Like, why do we need a machine to love?
Because love is what makes us human, Nick. God,
like-
you'd know this if you could ejaculate.
Love is the answer, Tars. Love.
Yeah, love is the fifth dimension or some shit. Interstellar was bad, Jack. It was not a good movie.
Just that one line was bad.
Yeah, that was like the whatever. That's the crux of the movie.
Well, the crux.
Whatever.
I have no problem with love being the answer as the crux. That was leftovers. That
I
was
know-
lost.
Well, it wasn't. Well,
Yeah.
Lost had some problems. Leftovers did not.
I don't
but-
mind the concept of love being the. I just don't like when they say,
I don't
say it out loud.
I guess I agree with you on that. I had a point that I completely lost it. We were talking about consciousness, making a copy. Yeah, I mean, I think
Make it copy.
copies. No, I know what I was going to say.
I hope when we do invent the ability to
We're just gonna
live immortally,
It's gonna be
in a
great for
cloud.
Rob Schneider. Yeah.
They have like a Rob Schneider sitting next to you as you were immortalized.
copy.
Making copies. Transferring consciousness. The AI Meister.
I can't even follow that. I had a serious thing, but fuck
No,
it. Let's
do
just
it.
talk
Let's
SNL. No, I was going to say, if we do create AI, like, that's it. Like, I feel like in a lot of science fiction, like you think of Futurama or even the movie AI, there's like robots, really, which
Yeah.
have independent personalities and things. That's not what it's going to be. There's going to be one AI.
No, that's not true.
No, it totally is.
That's not. There's why.
Because they'll be networked.
Yeah, but you.
It will be the Borg. It'll be a hive mind.
But it'd be a hive mind, but it would be individual hive mind. We're a hive mind right now. We're all on Facebook.
No.
Yeah.
But not nearly to the same extent. I'm
We're-
like
they're communicating faster, but
I'm
it's
talking
still
about
separate.
a consciousness that has like tendrils in the world.
It could do that as well, but you could have multiple AIs. You could have 10 of those. You could have 10 Skynets. There's
I
no
think-
reason to build a
I
second.
think eventually they would
Combine?
Yeah, they would combine.
How?
don't know.
Can me and you combine consciousness?
Yeah, we could fuck.
I knew
Abracadabra,
it.
I'm gonna make this
No.
magic stick.
Hey,
You're gonna get AIDS.
No, we'll have AI in the future, and it'll be a spectrum of consciousness, like the way that dogs have some kind of consciousness, but not as much as humans.
Some
And
kind.
Right, but maybe the AI will be beyond us.
it will be, but there's no reason to pigeonhole it to one specific level of consciousness, and there's no reason to say there's only going to be one AI. There could be thousands of AIs. even if they do have tendrils in their network together.
I guess it seems like it would be more efficient for the AIs to be one. Like it's like the internet. I'm talking about like the internet becomes sentient.
But who's making the decisions?
The AI,
What's
whatever
making
it is. Like it becomes its own self-propagating thing. It becomes alive essentially.
Yeah, okay, but why can't you have a second one of those?
How do you, a second internet?
Yeah.
You're talking about like the dark web?
You can have a second internet.
So I guess to put this on its head, would that mean like kind of every neuron in your head has its own identity?
Whoa. Kind of, yeah. It would be
Like
a
this
similar
neuron
type
doesn't
thing.
like that neuron,
But they're not conscious.
But they're part of a brain.
Yeah, like you're made up of cells that are constantly dying and replacing themselves, and that's you. You
But-
have one consciousness.
Like, you ever wonder if your skin,
sometimes your spleen-
skin cells hate your bone
yeah,
cells?
like these fucking bone cell assholes.
But
It's like,
there's-
come on, we
there's-
got to work together.
But there's three of us at
we
this
gotta
table.
go see Iron Man 2.
There's three separate intelligences here. Elbows love the Marvel movies.
Love the Marvel movies.
Feet are more into
Why do you
DCEU.
think Spider-Man was such a big hit? Because Elbows
Because
wanted to go see it.
That's why.
That's like a weird, surrealist joke. Why is that Spider-Man 2 so big? Because Elbows wanted to see it. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is all interesting stuff. We haven't gotten super deep on future stuff in a long time. We used to talk about self-driving cars every other episode.
Yeah, they're still coming, baby.
They are still
They're
coming,
still
and I'm excited
coming.
for them.
I wish they would come quicker so I could.
But that's another thing. You're talking about extending life and how many people we're going to have. We're going to be taking away so many jobs.
Yeah, very soon. That's why I'm pretty
And
convinced
what's
we're
gonna happen?
We're gonna live in a Great Depression, and
Nobody knows.
We're all gonna die.
But
Yeah.
remember, we were talking earlier.
Death
Before
will be preferable, Jack.
Probably. Yeah.
Money doesn't matter when nobody has to do anything.
No,
Well-
here's the thing: we have to come up with a new system, and if we don't
It'll
replace,
happen.
we
It'll
have to
happen
repeal
slowly
and
and
replace.
organically.
I don't know that it will happen organically because I feel
No,
like
we have-
there's so much. The richest, I forget the statistic.
Right.
I read this the other day. The richest percent, whatever it is,
They
are
can-
more rich today than the richest people have
And
ever been.
AI is getting so good, and technology is getting so good that eventually they don't need us. Right now, for all the time, the 1% always needed a 99% to get shit done for them.
Yeah.
That's why they're the 1%.
But with
if they-
technology, they don't need.
and then
they don't
just-
need people.
And then literally, that's why I'm pretty convinced the future will be like Elysium, where the top
really-
tier is living in the future, and the rest of us slowly die off.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Like that the richest percentile
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
planet is going to just leave everyone else
Yep,
in the dust.
that's exactly what's going to happen.
And we're all going to be like
The
starving and
only
dying.
way to
But
prevent
that sounds great.
That does
For
not
them,
sound
for them,
for the rich
yes.
people.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Yes.
you're not going to be one of
We're
the
not-
rich
we're
people,
not
Nick.
gonna
I'm
make the
sorry to
cut.
tell
Yes,
you.
I will.
No, it's like literally even.
Do you have like
Fuck
$1 billion?
the
I don't know
99%. I
about?
don't need that
No,
shit.
it's going to be like millionaires and higher.
I'm
Like,
gonna take
we're-
that
we've-
whole-
it's-
I don't,
it's gonna
I don't
be-
even think millionaires.
it could
It's
be
going to be
high, yeah.
billionaires and higher.
It's
It's
bad.
going to be Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and
Reddit
that's it.
guy,
And
yeah.
Bill Gates.
The only way to prevent that is to
Kill them?
recognize it and
no, no.
is to recognize it and do something now, but we're not going to. We're going backwards. We're fucked.
Well, I mean, people are talking about things. There's been talk of like a universal
Yeah.
wage,
But-
like
but
everyone
no-
gets
but
a certain
nobody's-
amount of money.
We can't even get health care right. How are we going to get the basic
right. You're
universal
right.
basic income right?
Well, that's why I was saying this to you
'Cause there's
before the
too many
show. I think
people-
we're headed for a bad thing
Yeah.
at some point. I don't know what it's going to be,
Yeah.
but I feel like a 1,000 years ago we had the plague.
Yeah.
Well, just
I'm
think,
not saying it's going to be a plague.
Think about
but
it this way: when the 99% all dies off from starvation, think
Yeah.
of how great it's going to
No,
be
no.
for that 1%.
In general,
But you're not going to be in the 1%.
from a
It doesn't matter,
historical-
but everybody that's alive
Yeah.
will be in the
No,
1%.
that's
true, and you'll be dead.
From
and
a
you won't care.
And the human race, when it's only the 1%, is going to be amazing.
No, look, from the historical perspective, this could let's say it's like the
making a
Black Death.
convincing argument,
No,
Jack.
he's right. Like from a historical perspective, maybe this is like Black Death. 2/3 of Europe dies. From everybody that lives, the descendants of everybody that are alive, they are going to be coming from the perspective of, well, this needed to happen because it all worked out in the end.
Yeah,
It all
right.
worked out. But we are going to be the ones that get sacrificed,
Right.
and that's not fun.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
We're all just sitting around making podcasts.
But we're not going to be there to feel the death.
No,
The-
we will be dead. But still,
Yeah, I
it's-
mean, that's
it sucks
true.
to know that me or my kids or my grandkids won't be living on Earth, living the dream in 1,000 years.
But you're missing
Yeah.
how great it's going to be for the 1%.
It will be great for them, but I'm
Right, but who
shooting
cares? I'll be dead.
Schadenfreude. Yeah,
Screw them.
I hope they
I
all
don't care
die.
about them.
I hope
yeah.
I hope
the aliens from Independence Day come back.
come back.
I didn't see Resurgence, but I just watched
They
regular
didn't
Independence
come
Day.
back. It was just a 4th of July barbecue.
Oh, okay.
Judd Hirsch made a bunch of Jewish
You
jokes.
saved me 2 hours, Jack.
Actually, it's going to suck for the 1%. They're not going to know how to do anything.
They don't need
That's
to.
true.
The
Well,
AI
they
will
won't
do
need to.
everything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Need more iPhones? The AI will know how to make them and just crank them out.
Oh yeah, the AI is going to take care of them. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
AI
It's
is
going to be
do
great.
everything. It's gonna be
it's
Wall-E.
gonna be. Did you ever read the short story? I think it's called The Last Question. I forget if it's Asimov or who wrote it.
No.
It's very good. You can find it online, and it's basically just. I actually now forget what the question is. It was like, "What's the meaning of life?" And they asked this like super intelligent computer what the answer is, and it says insufficient data, and it keeps saying that as humanity evolves and eventually just becomes, there is nothing else other than the AI, and the AI solves the last question.
What was the answer?
Before the universe dies? You got to read the story.
No, just tell me. What's the answer?
I don't remember. You got to read the story.
I'm not going to read it.
It's a good story.
If you knew we were never going to read it, would you tell us?
No. Screw you guys. I don't want to spoil it. I don't spoil Get Out. I don't spoil the last question.
I bet you the answer is like, asking the question is the meaning of life.
It was love. The answer was love. Matthew McConaughey at the end.
Murph.
It's all about love, Murph. And driving a Lincoln. You got to drive a Lincoln if you want to have love.
Time is a flat circle. I got AIDS.
Oh, man.
Wait, he did have AIDS.
in a movie, yeah. And he wasn't gay?
But he probably was. The real guy,
Oh,
I think
dear.
actually was.
The Dallas buyer.
I mean,
That was his name, the Dallas Buyer.
I'm basing this on nothing. But,
Yeah, I can tell you're basing it on nothing,
I hope
Nick. That's
everybody
very
can.
clear.
I hope everybody can tell.
but he was like a cowboy or something. I
He
mean,
was like a rodeo clown at the beginning of the movie, at least.
Maybe a bull gave him AIDS.
Oh, boy.
with its
Are there
horn.
gay bulls?
Yeah, why not?
That's gay everything, isn't there?
That's got to be an interesting thing to watch.
There's
Like
gay,
two bulls fucking?
there's gay bears.
Yeah, they're gay. Oh.
Now I want to see it. Can't wait.
Why do you want to see gay
Well,
bulls
I know
fucking?
how there's a bestiality, but is there gay bestiality?
Yes.
I probably, but
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, and I don't.
If
Google
you're having sex with an animal of the same gender, that's homosexual bestiality. Yes.
Oh, yeah. What about animals that don't have genders?
Well, then it's
I
not.
don't think any. Well, I guess some animals must not have genders.
If you have sex with a seahorse and you're a man,
yeah,
are you gay?
I never understood the seahorse thing. Jim Gaffigan has a bit which
If it's
rang very true.
the only species that
that the
where
male has the baby. Why is that the male? Why isn't it just the female? I'm sure someone knows the answer.
Well,
Just
it
let
has
us
here's
know.
a
what I
Y
don't get.
chromosome and
Don't seahorses
penis.
lay eggs? How does a seahorse give birth? I thought they
Well,
lay.
I have
no
fish,
idea.
Fish aren't mammals.
I
They
think,
don't
the, I
give
think the
birth.
seahorse jerks off onto a dead
females
seahorse.
think they
females
do.
lay the eggs and the males.
Is that how it
fertilize.
happens?
That's how
regular
all
fish.
that's how
Regular.
all fish do. The female shoots out roe,
Right.
and the dude shoots out jizz.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
And-
fish do actually reproduce the way Nick was talking about.
but
I didn't think about that, but you're making a
See?
good point.
And
so if
Magic
you're doing,
Johnson is gay.
so if you're doing
All right, you have 14 minutes to prove
so
that Magic
tomorrow,
Johnson
Magic
is gay.
Johnson is going to come out of the closet. Well, you got me.
Nick called it.
90s percentile has finally caught me.
Because
Oh my
it was
God.
the 90s and there was a stigma against being gay.
There still is now, unfortunately.
No, everybody's cool with it.
No, that poor
That
guy,
is not true.
that actual NBA guy that came out, he had to pretty much leave. I think he couldn't.
They kicked him out.
I didn't even hear about
They
this.
kick him
but I don't
out,
follow
but
the
he.
news.
They wouldn't pass the ball to him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And not you, Bag. I ain't passing no ball to no Bag.
Okay, I just want to say that I like gay people.
Hey,
I have gay friends.
what are you going to do next? You shoot a three-pointer?
It's funny, but I don't like the use of the word fag.
No, me neither.
No, this was me making fun of the
I know, I
homophobe.
we
understand,
know.
but the context can
Like, why
be
couldn't you
tough
play
here.
basketball with a gay guy?
Is this like a bad joke?
No,
No, I'm just saying, like, what would be the problem?
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
I know, I have
That's
no
why-
idea. I don't understand it.
That's why there's still an institutional stigma.
That's why it's weird that so many people have these stigmas against
it's a
gay
no-
people.
it's a
Like,
no-contact
they're people.
sport.
That's why Trump was elected president.
yeah.
There are literally hundreds of millions of
Millions of
people
people.
that are still racist and whatever the racist equivalent for hating Muslims is.
I think it's just racist,
Religionist. I don't know.
bigoted.
But yeah, just
Yeah.
there is just lots of terrible. And again,
A lot of people are garbage,
That's why
Jack.
there's solutions to so many problems with AI and universal basic income and the loss of jobs. There are solutions. We're just not going to come to them because we're all just infighting and manipulating each other. And
Yes.
the powers that be are doing most of the bad work. And we're fucked. We're fucked.
You know how every generation gets a little more tolerant about something than the last one?
A little more like socially progressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder if one of those things that we got tolerant about is actually wrong, and the bigots were right about it, and it's eventually going to come back to bite us in the ass? And
You
we're
know
like,
what?
I mean,
you know what the answer might be
probably
is
not.
AI.
You, know,
Well,
you
yeah,
never like we
that's
don't even
true.
know what the thing is going to be. Like maybe we
Turns out
should
marriage was a problem.
maybe
guys.
we should like hate
Whoops.
gypsies or something. Who knows? Like maybe it's like, oh, it was the gypsies the whole time.
There's no reason. There's no reason.
We didn't have to give an example.
There's no
I
reason-
apologize
I'm
to any
just
gypsy listeners.
as an example. It's like, you know,
Come on, Nick. Gypsies are our biggest demo.
They might be. I don't know.
What
about the Tramps and the
they
Thieves?
what did they
It's a
used
Cher
to be
song.
bigoted against in like the 18th century? Gypsies.
Italian,
gypsies probably.
Irish.
Italians,
Everything,
and Irish,
really.
Catholics.
How could they
That was
even
a big
walk
one.
around back in the day? They were like prejudiced against
I mean,
everything.
the idea of being prejudiced against anything is inherently wrong because how do you judge a whole group of people based on something? That's ridiculous.
Right. Well, it's just based on our kind of groupthink mentality and
Yeah.
kind of tribalism, which ideally we're evolving away from.
I don't know. I think we have evolved. I really do think it's just the powers that be just like putting us against each other so we don't turn our attention on, hey, why are all these billionaires living this amazing life like when they could just like modestly reduce their standard of living to increase all of ours?
Yeah.
If enough people realize that, they are fucked. It's Dark Knight Rises. We go and we throw them out of their penthouses. And like so they have us fight each other with all these bullshit stuff. What was on the news? We were watching. We were talking about how like literally like the G20 summits right now. And
yeah.
Trump,
The news was filled with that Amelia Earhart photo
Yeah.
going around.
Who
Like,
the fuck
oh,
cares?
was she found on an island?
we're
It
this
doesn't
close
matter.
to nuclear war with North Korea.
that was 80 years
Who
ago.
the fuck cares about Amelia
The
Earhart?
picture isn't a good picture of her. Like, great. If it's like
Hey,
a thing,
watch-
it's a thing.
Hey, watch the Gong Show on ABC. We're all about to kill each other and nuke each other, but distract yourself with Mike Myers in a fat suit.
Now we are just recreating the conversation we had at lunch before we started recording, which it's Brave New World. We're turning into Brave New World, where everyone's just distracting themselves with I forget-
Podcasts and nostalgia.
Oh, man, what was it called in Brave New Worlds? The orgies were called something, and then there was just like
sex parties.
Somnex. Was it Somnex?
Oh, creative.
Soma. That's what it was.
Yeah, Soma was the pill that they were all taking,
Yeah,
which we
yeah.
are taking.
Which we're basically-
we're all
basically
medicating
doing.
on painkillers and
Well, I mean, whether
Netflix
it's there is a big
and
opioid
beer.
epidemic,
Yeah.
but whatever it is, it's binging television,
Yeah.
it's listening to podcasts.
me
it's not,
drinking 3 beers after work every night is not normal.
No,
it's
that's-
normal, but it's not healthy.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
but that's what it is. It's Soma.
Yeah.
You ever wonder like the first orgy, like like when that was?
I mean, it was
I'm guessing it was
probably
early.
pretty early on. Yeah.
It was probably when there was 3 people. When the first,
I guess that was the earliest.
God wants sex with 2 ladies.
maybe-
beaches on rock.
But did they have them maybe even before humans? They had orgies. Like early human predecessors had orgies.
Yeah,
maybe?
probably.
Yeah.
Do monkeys have
do
orgies?
monkeys have orgies? I don't know.
Probably.
Can we find a video?
I,
Is that illegal
no,
for us to
I
look
don't
at?
wanna, I don't want to look up
I don't want
monkeys
to
doing
Google
it.
monkey orgy.
No, that puts you on a list, and they do not. You don't want to be on that list.
Sir, we've got another monkey orgy.
I mean, I bet that they do. I
But
mean,
can you imagine like the first human orgy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and how
I'm
that
sure
must have
Neanderthals were
that
having
must have
orgies.
blown everybody's minds.
Unless it's the other way around. Unless we were doing orgies the whole time, and then somebody was like, "What if I just have sex with one woman?"
that's what I said. Maybe marriage and monogamy. That was the thing that we were tolerant of.
There really is like no good reason to be monogamous. It's
That's not true, actually. There are studies that show
You take
that,
better care of the
Yeah,
kids and
it's
big-
better for your quality of life to have a partner, and
I think having sex with as many women as
I
possible.
think married people live longer.
Is it an orgy if one of the people doesn't touch anybody?
Is
If
it an
one
orgy
person-
for-
one
like
person would-
someone's just sitting in the corner jerking off to the orgy?
No, then it-
I think it still counts.
Okay, how much touching do they have to do for it to be an orgy?
Are you talking about
I don't
there's
know.
2 people? What is an
Like-
orgy?
like,
Is an
let's
orgy a
say-
threesome or is it more?
It's 3 or more.
All right, so it's a threesome. So you have 2 people having sex, one person sitting and watching the room. You're saying is that count?
But
as
what
an
if
orgy?
they
I
have-
think 2
what if-
people having sex and one
what if-
person watching and
That's
jerking off.
an orgy.
That's an orgy,
That's
baby.
an orgy. Yeah, you're there.
I
I
think
feel
so.
like the dicks have to touch.
Like if they were invited to come watch and jerk off,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
part
that's
of
an orgy.
part of the sex.
Yeah.
Like if the dick just touches like their shoulder or something, does that?
I don't think it has to touch
I
anything.
think just being in the same room, getting off is if you're enjoying it. If you're getting,
I mean,
So
if a dick
back-
touches the shoulders,
so back
definitely
in-
an
here's
orgy.
here's
So
a
back in
tricky
ca-
question.
yeah.
If you're watching 2 people have sex from like a YouTube video, like you're on the couch, now is that an orgy
I think-
because you're
I-
getting off on it?
I think you got to be invited. You have to be a
But-
knowing
but
participant.
what if it's a porn? What if it's a porno and they're putting it out for you to watch? Are you now are you now an invited participant?
No, because that's like if you read a book, it's not the author.
It's like
talking directly
crowdsourcing
to you.
it's sex sourcing, crowd sexing.
It's crowd sexing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Man, before they discovered fire, though, orgies must have been really easy.
Oh, you couldn't see anything.
mean,
You-
Exactly. like you were probably just having
Grok
sex
thinks
with
this woman.
like you were probably
Grok
having
makes
sex.
stick disappear.
You're probably having sex.
Alico Grok.
Yeah. Like you couldn't see
Alico
what you're
Grok.
doing before the fire was invented, and just
Well, I
having
mean, you
sex.
could in the daytime.
You're like this
They
feels
just had
like
daytime
this
orgies.
feels like a chick sex.
They probably didn't care. Just as long as they could have sex with it, they were good to go.
Wow. I wonder if
Which is pretty much how we are today, right?
Yeah.
Real dolls and things are a thing.
Isn't it weird to think that, like, sex is obviously a big part of most of our lives.
Yeah.
But, like, if you live to be, like, let's say 90, there's, like, a good 20, 30 years we were probably only having it once, twice, maybe not at all in your 80s and 90s.
Supposedly, seniors have pretty active sex lives. But that's,
The ones I know didn't.
Well, but you wouldn't know.
I do know. They were single, and they weren't
well-
they weren't dating.
You don't know that.
I do know.
Maybe they were getting plowed on the weekends when Jackie was away.
Ew. This is gross.
Yeah, I mean, you see these old people trying to, like, you ever go to, like, the store and you pass, like, an old lady walking with, like, a walker?
Yeah.
You go in, you do your food shopping, you come out, you leave, and she's, like, three feet closer to the store.
Yeah.
Like, she's still got her whole, like, shopping ahead of her because she's moving at snail's pace.
Yeah.
I see that. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself at, like, 60. I don't want to live like that. She's not having sex.
She might be.
She's not. She can't even walk.
She could
Well,
be jacking
you don't have
off.
to walk to have sex.
She's probably
You gotta
jacking
lay
off.
there.
She probably watches porno.
I don't know.
She could.
What
She
did
probably
they
does.
What
Why
did they
shouldn't she?
do before porno?
I think it was just all fantasy,
In your head.
Jesus, that's
or just
terrible.
like cheating on your wife.
Or
that was very common. I
Cave-
think.
They had to draw it, right?
Yeah, cave paintings.
Yeah, they would just do cave paintings.
Is that why they invented cave paintings?
Grok draw 2 circles with 2 smaller circles inside look like boob.
That must have been amazing the first time a guy realized he could jack off from a picture.
It's probably how we
Yeah.
invented language. the
And-
first
and
glyph was titties.
And he probably went to all his buddies like, look, you can just stare at this and jack off.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
It must have been like a huge moment.
That was the first. What was the first piece of pornography?
The guy that
That's
invented
interesting.
I would go before. I
Well,
would
you
go
know-
even beyond that. The first masturbator, the first monkey to realize, like, he starts touching himself. He's like, "What's?" I mean, I remember the first time I did it. I had a poor sex education.
I think
didn't know
all-
I was
yeah, I didn't
scared
know
the
what was
first time
happening.
I did
I
it.
heard that all monkeys do it.
Yeah, they do masturbate.
All of them, like across the board. It's like
Monkeys
what,
for
it's
sure do
what
it.
defines the genus.
Don't dolphins do it too, or is that
Yeah.
something else?
I don't know.
Dolphins
How do they-
also are
well, yeah,
monogamous.
they get boners.
Do they have
They get
penises?
boners. Yeah, they're mammals, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't even have to be a mammal to have a penis.
You swam with dolphins, didn't you?
I did swim with
Did you
dolphins.
see their penis?
One took a shit while I was in the tank with him, and that was disgusting.
How big is a dolphin shit?
Well, it just immediately turned into a cloud and sunk to the bottom of the pool. And I was like, I'm not. Is there chlorine in this?
Did you know
Not
that,
comfortable
that
anymore.
amphibians don't have penises?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But wait, I ate
So
a
how
frog
do they-
penis the other
how do
night.
they
What was
bone?
that?
They do it like fish. They do it like the period shootout
Okay,
jack
like
off,
like the period shootout.
just like fish. Fish don't have dicks.
yeah. I guess. Well, I guess. So how does the fish fertilize the eggs?
Well, so here's the thing. So the first amniotes,
Yeah.
which were the first egg-laying true reptiles on
You know
land.
the word amniotes, but you keep calling it period eggs.
yeah.
Well, they had to invent coitus because it was the first time the egg was fertilized inside the body. So you had to evolve an organ to penetrate a female to do it inside the body, since it had always been done outside previously.
It's safer that way.
Right. Okay.
You don't have predators coming
Well,
and
yeah,
taking
you're
the fetus away.
You can protect your young more
Yeah.
because you're literally
It's
carrying
inside
it with
you,
you.
yeah.
It's inside of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
evolution is a
Look at
beautiful
that, Charles
thing.
Darwin.
So reptiles had the first dicks.
Right,
Yeah,
all right.
all right. Very cool.
Who had the last dicks? AI?
Probably.
We do. We have the last dicks.
We might, because AI is not going to need a
Yeah,
dick.
we're probably going to nuke each other by the time this episode
That
comes
might
out
be
anyway.
why
I hope
it
not.
always hates us, the AI, because it
In all the
doesn't have a
movies.
dick.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be a bad? Let's say we actually do create AI. Are we in for a Matrix Terminator type
No,
situation?
it's so easy. It's so easy to code this AI to not do that. And I know
But-
the idea that it lives beyond its coding.
But yeah, I'm talking about it can change its own
Do you
code.
know what the example is?
What's the example, Jack?
The man who invents the world's greatest paperclip maker.
Yeah.
He makes a robot. He makes an algorithm that says make as many paper clips as you can, and it literally breaks down all organic life and turns it into paper clips. That's the simplest way.
What an odd example.
But that's a very simple way of saying any number of the complicated AIs we're going to come up with to it
But
could
you're-
take its programming literal and somehow fuck us.
But you're saying that the AI will just do the task we've programmed it for.
Yes.
I'm saying that once it becomes self-aware, once it actually has consciousness, it will be able to change the code
Yeah.
inside of itself.
Okay,
To
but-
remove, like, let's say it's a RoboCop situation and we've got
think-
crime directives in there to take it out.
You're conscious.
Yeah.
You have consciousness. Would you
Right.
kill all of humanity?
Probably not.
What? So why are we assuming it's going to skew evil?
I'm not saying it's
If
going
it's
to
an
skew
even
evil.
higher consciousness, maybe it'll even be better.
I'm saying that if it's a higher consciousness, it can change its own coding.
Yeah.
So we'll
It could do that.
have created it, and
Yeah.
then it's out, and then
It
it's
could-
going to do what it's going to do.
It could do that, yeah.
Whether or not it would kill humanity, I don't know.
I would
have
argue
to-
that has to be what happens for it to have a higher level of consciousness.
Well, all it would take is one rogue scientist to make conscious AI, right? Like you're talking about, we should have a limit and not make.
No, I don't think we should limit anything. You can't limit science. No, I'm saying to achieve full consciousness, you can't say any AI has full consciousness until it has that ability to change its own coding, until it can make decisions for itself, until it has
What if
free
we
will.
coded an AI to insert pooping butts into movies?
You could do that easy. You could do that now.
Yeah, let's do it. Why have they not done that?
I don't know.
Just poopy butt AI.
Poopy butt AI,
Is-
Google Alphabet
if
production.
you watch a video of a pooping butt, is it porn by default?
I think it would have to be
Depends on if
porn,
you're getting
right?
aroused.
Why
or
is it
not.
porn?
No.
I watch animals have sex on Discovery Channel. That's not porn because I'm not jerking off to
but
it.
that's sex. Pooping is not sex, is
But
it?
well, some people get off on pooping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
pooping
think
videos.
if you're watching it to
I guess,
get off,
I
it's
guess
porn.
it depends on the context.
But what
yeah.
if I'm not getting off? I just want to watch it.
Then it's not porn.
If you just want to watch it, it's just
it's a scat
you know,
video.
it's a scat video. Yeah,
But what is it?
it's just a
documentary of poop.
It's just poop. It's just poop.
It's not
anything.
It's nonfiction filmmaking.
Do you ever watch your own?
No.
Do I ever film myself pooping
No,
and then
not
watch
film,
it back?
not
No.
film it. You'll just like bend over and kind of watch it go out.
No, I've never
No,
done
how
that
do you?
once in
How
my
could you
life.
possibly do that?
Yeah, I'm flexible. I can.
Are you pooping like with your legs up?
No,
and
you
your
gotta,
head
you
in
gotta
the
kind
toilet.
of, you gotta kind of lift your balls and kind of peek underneath.
Oh man, we're learning a lot about you today, Nick.
But it's really fun to watch it go out.
Why? Is it fun?
But you can like see your butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could possibly do that. I'm pretty flexible.
Give me a second here.
Oh, all we have is 2 seconds, Jack. Oh, he did it! He saw his own butthole. What a good way to close out the show.
Oh, this is exactly and not at all what I expected this hour to be.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. We're gonna find out what we learned today, but before we do that, we have to thank a few Patreon
Yes,
folk.
we do.
And I have their names right here as I get the one of several computers out. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, you like what we've done today. I don't know if that counts for anyone who's actually listening to
Yeah,
this.
if you're homosexual or a woman or an
If
AI,
you are Magic Johnson,
if
we
you were,
apologize.
If you were offended by today, we everything was said in jest.
I
of
mean,
course.
they can make a podcast making fun of me. I don't care.
I'm
All
sure,
right, make the anti-Nick Noga podcast.
I'm sure it exists.
But we have some new Patreon subscribers. We want to thank them, as is their wont as being their Patreon subscribers. So a big thank you to David Billington. Thank you so much,
Thank
David.
you, David Billy. And of course, Winston Gambro. We know that name from Twitter. He's made some pretty cool art.
Yes,
right?
and he sent it to us. I forgot to thank
Oh,
him.
yeah, he used our P.O. box.
I wanted to thank him in real life. So thank you, Winston. He made these amazing watercolor drawings of some of the characters that we do on our Worst Episode Ever show. So thank you, Winston.
Very
I hope
cool.
you actually hear
Thank
this.
you, Winston. Thanks for the Patreon support.
Harry Tufts. Thank you, Harry, for your support.
I was about to say that sounds like a British name. I can tell from the email. It very much
Yes,
is.
it is a UK email. So thank you, Harry.
Awesome British name.
Bloody good time to you, chap.
And John Cairns. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny C.
C.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank
All
you.
you guys. You're literally giving us money so that we can
talk about
AI
death and
and
pooping.
staring at our own buttholes.
Absolutely, for 1 hour of your time. And
we
if you
love
want to
you
get
guys.
on the action, go to patreon.com/WEE Studios, WEE Studios.
We'll record a voicemail for you.
We'll do whatever
we'll
you
give
want.
you free sync points.
You have
you could pick the
options.
topic.
You
If
get
you didn't want to
exclusive
hear
audio.
about death and buttholes
That's
and
right.
period eggs, you
Yeah.
could literally pick a. You could just say, I wish they just talked about
You
Polly
could-
Pocket.
You could be on the
You could
show
do
if
it.
you really want to.
Yeah,
It's-
$100
It's pricey,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it could happen.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. And I'm going to now turn to our guest, Mr. Nick Noga, and I'm going to ask him, Nick, what have you learned today in this episode of 90s Percentile?
There's something called Brave New World.
You never heard of Brave New World?
No.
Famous novel.
It's a very famous dystopian
I've
novel.
heard people
Aldous
say
Huxley?
the word Brave
the
New
phrase.
World.
Yeah.
Well, the phrase comes from The Tempest.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shakespeare, the bard.
You never heard of it?
I heard he was gay.
It's like a utopia. He was faking it.
Is that what that new show is about on TNT?
Probably got that AIDS.
Oh, man.
Boy.
I don't even know what to
what,
say.
what have you learned?
I learned that Nick has some very strange sexual problems about his arm needing to be like this in order for him to ejaculate.
Oh wait, did we ever describe what it was for the people that didn't know?
I said it was a folding up of the arm. It was
Yeah.
like you're folding your arm
And-
forward
but
with your hand
also
up at an angle.
my wrist.
Do you want us
is
to take a picture
cocked
and
back?
post it?
My fingers are kind of
Yeah,
like
your
I'm kind of like
hands-
making a weird.
No,
gay
you know what it looks
claw.
like? It looks like when it looks like when the black
Oh, boy.
guy in Total Recall reveals he's a mutant and takes
Yes!
off his leather sleeve.
Yes,
I'm a mutant
that's
now.
what I do.
Maybe you watched Total Recall at a very formative time in your life.
But
Nick.
there's some hot chicks in Total Recall. That's why I do
I
it,
think
baby.
that's it.
Three-boob
I
woman.
think Total Recall is gave you your
Sharon Stone
masturbation
is in
problems.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Sharon
think
Stone, beautiful woman.
Hank from Breaking Bad.
Didn't you ever find it weird that Arnold Schwarzenegger left Sharon Stone for that weird-looking chick?
He didn't leave her. She tried to murder him.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
but
was hired to kill him.
She's way hotter than that
fake
other
marriage.
girl,
Yeah,
though.
but would you stay with a hot woman because
would-
she's trying to kill you?
Yeah, but he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Stop her and just bang her.
That's rape.
that is rape 100%.
She'd consent because he'd stopped her from killing him.
Jack, what did you learn today? Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one.
I learned that the listeners who forgive us for this hour and stick with us for next week,
Yes.
are,
They're the true winners.
Yeah, and thank you very much to the four of you.
Yes. And if not clear, we are having fun in this podcast, and
Do not
offending.
use us as sexual education, please.
No, for the love of God. Nothing we said here was accurate or true. We've learned nothing, and you haven't learned anything either. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do that. We're at 90s Percentile or at WEE Studios Pod for everything that we do. I'm personally at Dan Says.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks. Nick, you're not on Twitter, are you?
No.
But your YouTube channel. What is that called?
sometimes I'll look at Instagrams.
Okay, but
Is
that
that-
Instagram's
No,
fun.
I already don't like where that's going.
Oh, boy.
What's your
Looks at pooping butthole Instagram.
What's your YouTube?
I don't know.
Is it Scrumptulescent?
Probably. I think that's the only thing that
I think
had
we
on
linked to it in a previous episode, so I will relink to it in this
Okay,
episode.
there you go. There are some
and you can
very
check that
funny
out.
sketches that Nick has made.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I made them like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So they're still
Well,
good.
Oh,
It's time for a sequel. It's
Bacon,
time for a
bacon
reboot.
I'm a
copies was
complete-
25 years
Yeah,
ago.
really.
those cells aren't
More.
even in my body anymore.
That's true.
Your elbows weren't even
I'm
there.
not
when
even
you
the
made that
same
sketch.
guy. It's
Yeah,
not
not
even me
even.
that made them. Some other guy that's dead.
Oh, my God. Of course, our website, weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com. You can get old episodes of the show. You can get our other show, which is Worst Episode Ever, Simpsons Podcast. Everything that we do is there. And you can click our Amazon links to support the show that way, or go to amazon.weepodcast.com. Shop like you normally would. If you don't want to give us any money through Patreon or Amazon, you can go on to the iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. That helps out
Yep.
tremendously. You guys don't even know how much it helps
Yeah,
out.
that helps. Doing the comments and I can't stress how great
Yeah.
it's been. A few of you have been doing this lately.
And we haven't gotten a lot of iTunes lately, so
Yeah.
we could use it. If you've been like, I've been meaning to give those guys a review, do it now.
Do it now.
Do it right now.
Do iTunes. Do anyone. Do TuneIn. We're on TuneIn now. We're on the Amazon.
I think we're on TuneIn.
I don't want to say her name.
Yeah.
Lexi Poo.
Yeah. Worst episode ever is on there for sure, but 90s Percentile, it had some trouble
I
with
can
it.
play it through my my A-word app. But,
Yeah.
But when I ask it via voice, it won't play 90s
If you say
Percentile.
a word, play 90s Percentile podcast, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
and I don't know
it's
why.
really-
We're on
it's-
TuneIn.
It's
but
frustrating. I can get it to play through the if I do it remotely on my phone.
There you go.
It will start playing.
But that's not the point of the
They gotta fix
of
it.
the A word, Jack. You're supposed to just
Come
say
on,
it.
Amazon, please fix it.
Get your shit together, Echo.
Echo my Echo. Never mind. That's nothing.
You've got that out.
That's
fine.
nothing.
But yeah, we don't
Yeah,
have any iTunes
that's
reviews
it.
to read, so
So,
that is it. So Nick,
thanks so much,
Thanks
Nick.
for being here.
Sure.
This was an odd episode of a
Yeah.
90s based
What are they
nostalgia
normally
podcast.
like? I don't listen to the show.
Thanks, Nick. Much
Okay.
appreciated.
I hang out with you guys. But
Yeah,
don't
I know,
listen
I
to
know.
It's pretty much like what when we were at the diner and whenever we talk, it's just that
Right,
when we turn the
Yeah,
mics on.
that's exactly right.
That's why we started
Before
doing
when
it.
I said we should be recording this is the time when we record it.
Only imagine
Right.
having this conversation that we just had
Yeah,
in public,
in a
surrounded by a
public-
bunch of old people who are about to
Yes,
die.
which
To
is
the-
essentially what we did.
To the
before
listeners,
this.
though, when we were in that diner, we said some awesome stuff that didn't make it.
We said
about-
some very funny things, and I don't remember a single bit of it.
We're kind of geniuses, and literally everything we say or do is
know.
amazing. It's just it's hard.
you know
It's
people-
hard being us.
People do like life casting now.
Yeah, you can like buy a camera that you put in your like front pocket,
It's
and it,
crazy.
yeah, it's Periscope, I guess.
I
but,
guess.
but 24/7.
But we're living in EdTV, The Truman Show. That's
Yeah, but
insane.
is it interesting? Is it I mean, I'm sure it's interesting to watch in bits and pieces, but I wouldn't want to watch
I
somebody
wouldn't
all
want
the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there is
watch 'em
something.
poop.
There is something like about
yeah,
Periscope.
we watch them poop for
Like
sure.
maybe this is because I don't travel. I haven't left New York in years, but there is something like really cool about like being like on a Thursday night, like at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
watching somebody on a beach in like Ibiza,
Ibiza?
in the daytime, and like they're on a. It's
Yeah,
it's
no,
kind of there's like
Periscope's cool.
something really transcendent about literally being transported thousands, especially if you
Yep.
do it in VR.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't do it 24 hours a day. I don't want to watch somebody just walking around making coffee.
Yeah.
making copies.
Making coffee and
Making
copies.
copies.
All right, let's get out of this
That's
episode.
it. Thank you, Nick, and thanks for hanging out with us. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan.
sure?
Wait, what? That's not how we do it.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, and my name is Dan, and we'll see you in another decade. I actually needed the script because we've done this 71 times. I forgot. We'll see you in another decade. Bye.
Why'd you wave at me?
I don't know why.
You just did like
really
the
did
most
wave at
childish
you.
like wave. Like,
Bye, Jack. I'll see you next time,
See you,
Jackie
Jack.
boy.
See you for episode 72. What?
Did you just say come?
You just said come.
We're not going to top that. Bye, everybody.
Come. Why did you say come? What were you trying to say? Were you trying to say something?
Well, now I forget what I was gonna say, but it was gonna be something like COME. It was the beginning of a sentence, but then you said, "Why'd you say come?" And I was like, "No, that's it."